Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of Make or Break, where we talk about everything at the intersection of disruptive change and people. And I am super excited to be joined by Steve Nunn. Steve, I am going to let you introduce yourself, and then we're going to get to it.
Okay, my name is Steve Nunn. I'm CEO of Intista, which is made up of the words integration and fashionista, so Intista. We help acquirers solve the problems caused by mergers and acquisitions by training their employees how to integrate their acquired businesses themselves.
So let's just first talk about this process of integration and just how disruptive it is.
Yes.
For many organizations, for many leaders, for many teams, it's one of the most disruptive things they'll ever go through.
Oh, yes. I still remember being acquired 22 years ago. I remember the speech almost verbatim. It had such a mark upon me, the change I was going to go through. And I was right. It was a lot of change.
I think what is interesting is when a company gets acquired, I think sometimes the buyers forget that they bought people, humans, along with whatever the product, the service, the book of business. It's actually the people that have to execute on that integration plan. Steve, where do you see it go wrong?
Oh, my word. Well, so let's start with some numbers. The accepted fact is that a minimum of 70% of acquisitions fail. And if you measure it differently, it can be as high as 90%. And we've been measuring it for 50 years, and it's the same number.
The same number. It has not gotten better.
No. We've got some theories about that, but nevertheless, success is at best 30%. And people talk about acquisitions, but really there's two phases here. The acquiring part, the transaction, which is a confidential process usually until it's announced, and then there's the integration of the two businesses together. And when people talk about acquisitions, people who aren't involved in M&A they really talk about the integration, that they're going through an acquisition. They're really going through the integration after the transaction.
Absolutely. What I think is the messiest part, the hardest part, because now all the humans are involved.
Yes, indeed. And humans are more valuable the smaller the business, in a rule of thumb. I'm sorry to say that it's so brutally, but it is that way. If you were to acquire an airline company or a car company and you successfully integrate them together, success will be measured, will be stated like, hey, we've saved money, we've reduced costs, we've increased share value, all financial spreadsheet type things. If you're successful acquiring and integrating a smaller business, it's like, hey, we've now got a new product, we've now got a new sales region, new expertise, new ingredients, and we are able to grow now. And that growth needs people altogether, please. People are more important to the success of businesses, the smaller the business is.
So if you had a magic wand and you could advise, which you do, in fact, leaders on how to really center humans so that they can do the best work possible during this extraordinarily disruptive time, what are some frameworks that you use or metrics that you track? Give me something tangible that folks can walk away with.
So the most important thing for an acquirer, and you can summarize the whole process in one word, trust. You develop trust with the seller when you bought the company, and now you've got even a harder task of getting the trust of the people who didn't choose to be acquired. And
that is such a key point, right? They weren't a part of the decision-making process. Most, you might have some key executives that know, but very few people made this choice, but they're the ones that have to live with it.
Absolutely. The actual hand on the mouse changing things will be an employee who probably didn't choose to be acquired. Leaders have got used to the idea that the announcement of an acquisition is important. 20 years ago, it wasn't as important. Now leaders know I've got to really do well on the welcome speech, the announcement. But then they often, usually, unfortunately, go back and say, oh, I did well.
Done.
I'm done. I've got all this. Yeah.
Oh, my work is done here.
I put all these projects off to get this acquisition done. I've got to get back to my day job. And unfortunately, this is still part of their day job because due to the disruption, morale will drop. And it's our job in the integration team and leadership team to make it as flat as possible in the dip in morale.
So how?
Communication. There we are. Communication. You're done. We can go now. So
If
you,
it were that easy.
and if communication, we all know that's a secret to success, and yet we still are pretty bad at it. It's hard work doing it well.
The amount of time that went into getting that deal across the finish line, and then we expect the humans that then have to deal with the change to get just get over it. Like one announcement is enough. Well,
Hell
think
no.
about the amount of time it took to get the deal done, all of the communication, everything that had to happen. You need to attend to that on the back end.
A small company integration will probably have 300 projects or tasks. Imagine you've got 6 work streams, as we call them, 6 teams, and they've got 50 tasks each. 300 tasks right there without even thinking about things. It's very commonplace to see 1,000 tasks with integration, and people say, let's get it done in 100 days. Like, oh, I wish.
And those often we hear first 90 days because
First
we
90
like
days,
to talk
yes.
in quarters.
Yes.
Those first 90 days are crucial, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. As a rule of thumb, the morale bottom will be about the 90-day mark.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb.
So I'm communicating how often, what do I need to be communicating?
Well, communication changes over time. So it starts off with why and what. So why do we acquire you? What will happen to you and what we want from you? As it gets difficult, it gets turned into a kind of supportive, let's get things done, let's push through. It's reminding people the benefits of why we're doing this and what it will be like when we finish this, being successful.
So I think it's interesting because what you just described, Steve, is I go from an informational communication to an empathetic communication.
Oh, very good. I like that.
You like that?
That's what I was doing. 2 other really important parts are having somebody responsible for doing this. It sounds silly. Having a team whose job it is to run this integration. They're a temporary organization called the Integration Management Office, the IMO. They're somewhere between a quarterback and an air traffic controller, coordinating, facilitating, prioritizing, connecting people. And so having a clear picture of what everyone's role is important to people. So that's the second thing is the org chart, temporary org chart.
And this one feels very personal to people, right?
Yes.
When you're talking about an org chart and you're talking about where did I used to be? Where am I now? What am I losing? You put that on paper and there's a lot of emotion behind that.
So the third thing you must have is a process. Doesn't have to be too rigorous for smaller agile companies, but it has to be a process you're going to step through. I found years ago, I was looking around, that people were trying to use big processes used by Accenture and so on to do small company integrations and
Too much, too complex. Yeah.
I perhaps overreacted, but I think I got it right. An agile, simple process of why are you buying the company? What are we going to achieve? Let's do some high-level brainstorming here. Let's get ready and announce it, and let's go and deliver it. I'm generalizing a lot.
Yeah, of
Talk
course.
to me later if you want more information.
I love that. What do you think is just bunk? What do you think is something that is a commonly held belief in this space, in this integration, that just doesn't hold water for you, that you haven't seen play out? It's one of those things that we've always done it, so we keep doing it.
Oh my goodness, I've never been asked that question before.
You're on the hot seat, Steve.
Oh my goodness. What is bunk? Good one. I'm going to half answer that. Because retaining staff often is only seen as writing a check. It's the only way. Financial retention kind of works, but it doesn't really work long term. I'm much more a fan of the harder work of non-financial retention things like resurfacing the car park outside, or bringing in daycare because you've got a high number of or work from home, benefits that everyone can share in.
So the things that are tangible that change the day-to-day experience versus the golden handcuffs.
Right. You can't keep writing checks.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And who gets the checks?
Last thoughts for us, Steve, around just this messy and exciting integration process and the value of centering humans.
The acquirers don't always know what to do. And so if you have a good idea don't hold it back. If it's a positive or helpful idea, that's usually welcome by the IMO. Leaders are a little bit busy. Come to the IMO.
I love that. I think there is such an opportunity for creativity. There's the opportunity to do things differently than they've been done before. When everything is chaos, you can change a lot more quickly because everything is a bit up in the air. So I love that idea of toss that idea out there. Maybe it's something that you've wanted to do at the organization for a long time and you've hit a brick wall. Boy, now is the time to surface it. Or you're seeing something because of where you sit in the organization that maybe the leaders aren't, that maybe the acquiring company doesn't. I love the idea of speak up. The worst that can happen is you hear no.
But I also think leaders should always, it's a little intimidating, I must confess. You've been acquired, you don't really know who these people are who acquired you. I need leaders to foster this communication. And so I recommend hang out in the kitchen. Hang out by the coffee machine. Just hang around there. Let people come to you and see that you're a human being, and understand. You can it gives the leadership a chance to reinforce what they've been saying. I mean, after all, if you've been told you've been acquired, you're probably like a deer in headlights, going, "Oh my goodness, what's happened to my job, my benefits?" And you're not absorbing everything. So leadership can reinforce it by going to the kitchen or going to the coffee machine, hanging out there, but also walk around the building, go to the loading dock and say, how's it running here? Is it going smoothly? What do you need? And they'll say, oh, well, this loading dock's been broken for a year. Well, how do we fix that? Oh, we can increase, da, 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 da. Okay, write it down, put it in a list of things to get fixed.
Honestly, it goes back to that kind of leadership by walking around, right? And by being present and becoming a known entity. Oh, he drinks tea, not coffee. I just made an assumption about you as a Brit.
That's correct. I drink both, but I do drink coffee and tea in the afternoon, yes. There are 40,000 acquisitions per year in America. At least 2,000 need help and don't know that where you and I are out there working with small and medium-sized companies. Help is out there. Come and find us, please.
I love that. I knew this was going to be a great conversation, Steve. I appreciate the wisdom that you shared. I look forward to collaborating in the coming year.
Let's do it again.
Cheers.